Chapter 2 talks about organizing and summarizing the data. And you can see here that we're going to do that by constructing bar graphs and pie charts. And we're going to specifically talk about qualitative data. Recall from Chapter 1, qualitative data is data that cannot be measured. Ways to organize data. Data that is not organized is just basically raw data. You'll see it be referred to in both ways. Tables, graphs, and then when we get to numerical summaries dealing with central tendencies, mean, median, and mode will be Chapter 3. First definition, frequency distribution. You can pause it and take down the definition. A simple case of just listing each category and the number of occurrences. And later on, I'll go through Google Sheets and show you ways that we can do this, because the TI-84 does not allow you to display charts, but we can still enter that information into list. Scroll down through these and pause it as your discretion, but you can clearly see we'll have examples and tables going forward. Relative frequency is a simple case of just taking the number of things by the sum of all frequencies, and clearly you should be getting a number less than 1. Sum of all probabilities has to be less than or equal to 1. So here we are just from previous examples. We have a frequency table. You tally it up, and the number of times you see each tally, and this would be a frequency table. And you could see how we get relative frequency, but just dividing the number of frequency by the total. If you add up this column right here, 12, 10, 9, 6, 3, and 5, you get the 45. And that's it for a frequency table. Constructing bar graphs. Bar graph is constructed by labeling each category of data on either the horizontal or vertical axes and the frequency or relative frequency on the other axis. So we're going to use that M&M data from up here and up down here to construct a bar graph in both categories. And you can see here they did that for the frequency and then the relative frequency, which should be very, very similar because you're talking about a probability given the frequency. So it should be very, very similar. It just depends on how you label your X and Y axes. All right. So as I head to Google Sheets, now you can get this just by going into your school account, going to Google Sheets. The TI-84 won't allow you to construct bar graphs or pie charts, but this will. So I have a few examples here from classes that I taught this semester. You can clearly see. So here it is. I got some foods. Took a poll of my class. I had 16 students. What was their favorite food? I gave them a choice of pasta, hot dogs, pizza, or chicken tenders. And you can clearly see the frequency or the tally of each. And then just take a total, 1 divided by 16. That's how I got the 0.06, 1 divided by 16. Now you can do this. If you click on this box, you can clearly see some of the syntax. Now, this class is not about the syntax. You can always look up how to go ahead and divide things by going to the menu on here. So I'll let you figure that out by just little trial and error. But basically, I can do that. And once I do that, I can go over here and start clicking more options. And you can clearly see I can go through some of these, insert chart. And then from insert chart, I can go and basically look at whatever I need. I would have to change the title here, but the data range, because I have from A2 really all the way down to C6. I would change that, but I'm not going to do that right now. Let me just delete that. You could see on other ones, once again, days you eat out. Frequency, relative frequency, and then just enter in a pie chart using our data, and you can play around with the tabs. Now, what you can do in here is you can list these all. If you look from last class, or you can go to List, Edit, Edit. I have a bunch of lists here. You can clear all that data if you have stuff in there, or you can start a new list, maybe something you have and the number of frequencies. It's much harder to do qualitative because you really can't write or type in what you have here. So if we get back to the PDF, Pareto chart is just a chart where it's decreasing order of frequency. So you can rearrange the data that you have into descending order, like here, as you can see as we're going in descending order. Comparing two data sets, I'll let you read through this. Not much happening with these examples. Now, pie chart, key with pie charts is dividing it into equal sectors. So you can clearly see with this example, we're talking about millions of people in terms of the US. I would just add up all the total millions and then divide each specific frequency over the million, and clearly see married would be the most, would be over 50%, and that would be the largest part of the pie, 58% of it to be exact. It's relative to the percentages. And that's section 2.1.